You know, one of the more enjoyable racetracks. I think all drivers really enjoy coming to Michigan. Wide, a lot of speed, Steve. When you get your car comfortable here, it is a blast. Yeah, look at that racetrack. Plenty of groove for these guys to utilize and see where everybody wants to run today.
Yeah, there's something about it. It's just the magical mix, right? It's 2 miles, so it's unrestricted, unlike Daytona and Talladega. So aero plays a huge part. Horsepower absolutely gets tested, but you can't ignore your chassis. You can't ignore your pit strategy. To be successful on this racetrack, you kind of have to really push the limits or test every different area of your race team, as we saw quick little bottom out of the back of the 6, trying to get the back of that car as low as possible.
The magical mix.
Magical Michigan. You like that?
How long have you been working on that?
You know what? I'd love to tell you I prepared, but it just kind of came to me.
Oh, there you go. Those are the best ones. Brad Keselowski trying to become the first Michigan-born driver to win here at MIS. Been close so many times.
He's got a battle because it'll be between him and Hocevar.
Right. Eric Jones.
And you see the back of the car right here, Steve. You were talking about the bottoming out. And you're thinking that, man, that looks pretty bad. That's pretty severe. And a couple of bumps getting off into turn 3. But as the car gets up to speed, and I think you get the travel in the front of the car, it kind of balances that out a little bit.
Yeah, and really what you're seeing drag right there, I don't think that's the rub block. That's smoked like carbon fiber, so the vertical strakes on the diffuser. Just trying to get that thing squeezed down to the ground, creates a ton of downforce.
Talk about this racetrack. Dale referenced it's wide. It's also wide open. The speeds here, outstanding. Here's Brad talking about that.
Michigan is one of the fastest tracks in all of NASCAR. There's a number of reasons for that. The drafting, though, is probably the biggest. Really long front straightaway, big drafts, big chance to get runs.
We'll see that all day long down the front straightaway and the back straightaway, where you'll get, you know, if cars are running side by side, it really slows both those cars down. And the following car can make the decision, if he gets a big enough run, to try to go around and go 3 wide and maybe even clear before the next corner. And also on restart, Steve, the high line's going to be the choice. That's going to be where you're going to want to line up, but sometimes you might have to give away too many rows and force yourself to choose the inside line. Then you have to fight to try not to be bottled up and lose all your momentum off of turn 2 and lose positions going down the back straightaway. Restarts are going to be a ton of fun come tomorrow for us up here in the booth.
You know, the bottom, like when you run the bottom of 1 and 2, you feel so good because you drive in there and as a crew chief, oh, we're passing 2 or 3 guys. And then right about here where Brad is, you get back to the gas and they just start the momentum around the top. Absolutely just get you. We saw right here 194 down the backstretch. I'm sure we'll see that again. A little bit higher down the front straightaway. I assume that's just a wider exit of turn 4. Might even start to get a little bit of toe, that car up in front. I think that's the 48 of Alex Bowman. So, you know, if you were half this distance to that lead car, you would really start to see the draft come into place. We're going to see 200 this time, though.
A little bit slower mid-corner speed there in 1 and 2, so you don't see the match speed down the back straightaway, but you can see how he's gained quickly on this 48 of Alex Bowman. Alex, I think, will be coming to pit road for some adjustments. Must not like the balance of the car enough to continue his run. Brad still working on his car here. Every lap, the car starts to change. The balance starts to change. You want to go as far as you can to figure out what you need to really focus on and work on. What is the car struggling with?
2 groups of practice. 25 minutes apiece. Best of the bunch so far. Group 1, Ross Chastain. Needs something good to happen. This is an organization, this one team, that has scored exactly 3 points in the last 2 weeks. Need to
really see how that might net out for them. It's been and you could see the frustration with Ross after that happened. This guy rarely shows frustration. He's pretty good at sort of masking and controlling his anger and disappointment, but I feel like that he's starting to get to the end of his rope where he's like, man, something's got to change. He struggled a little bit with just overall speed with his cars here lately, and then now there's some bad luck gremlins like the brake issue last week that are making weekends long and tough.
And I'll add that I believe some of the disappointment last week was that he knew how good his car was. You know, you never want to be out of a race, but when you're having an okay weekend. But to Dale's point, this has been a long season for Trackhouse, and I thought they had, maybe not winning speed, but we're talking top 5, top 6 speed. They could have had a really good run.
Yeah, there's the brake failure getting off into turn 1 right there. And saw this a lot last week. This should not be an issue this weekend. Again, a different type of racetrack, and won't be having those types of issues. But last week it was wild how many cars struggled with the brake problems, and Trackhouse was one of those teams.
Yeah, I spent this week talking to a bunch of different crew chiefs, team managers, competition directors, and they all seemed to agree that they thought it was a combination of overheating while using the brakes and then overcooling while cooling the brakes. So it was much like Dale explained some last week. It's just the hot and cold cycle that ended up with the brake failure. We'll see if the teams have a better plan. We go really St. Louis. I know it's out in the summer, but that one really comes to mind. But Bubba Wallace in the 23, second quick so far.
What's going on, Marty?
Adam, good afternoon. Talking about Ross Chastain, you know, after the frustration of Nashville, they had an Indianapolis test, and that gave them the opportunity to kind of get back on the track, focus on getting some speed out of the one car as well. But for Chastain and Wallace and everybody really out here, Steve, an afternoon practice, very different than the past here at Michigan. So what changes as a crew chief would you have to make to get adjusted to an afternoon practice versus 10 a.m.? Certainly much more like race conditions tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, actually, I think I would prefer this practice, not just the afternoon, but after the truck race. So the track, you know, Dale, you talked about how wide it was, but it was also very black and rubbered in already. So I think this is the best practice conditions for the race. Now, I do believe that may change a little bit overall grip of qualifying later. You might have to make it a change there, but I think for accuracy, this afternoon and this rubbered in racetrack is a great combination.
Probably be in the final stage of the race this time tomorrow. Chris Buescher is fastest now in the 17.
Yeah, we're seeing cars starting to reach that 10-lap mark, so we can do some 10-lap averages. And right now, 7 or 8 cars have ran 10 laps. William Byron is at the top of the board on 10-lap averages. Bubba Wallace is second. There's the Chris Buescher 17. Oscar Mayer Ford.
We flipped the pylon to that 10-lap average, and there you see what Dale was talking about. William Byron being at the top shouldn't be a surprise. This has been a really good track for driver 24. Outstanding a year ago, leading 98 laps, and unfortunately just came up short on fuel, but he's had a couple of runner-ups here and been very much in the game. Group 1 practice underway in Michigan. Almost 10 minutes in. Buescher, Chastain, Wallace, Byron, and Herbst the top 5.
The beginning of the season, I could not come up with another year, and this is my 30th year here in NASCAR with MRN, of another year where that many driver contracts were up at the same time. And we knew that this was going to be a very eventful game of musical chairs for these drivers here. And some of the biggest names have already had their contracts announced that they've re-signed, but plenty of other dominoes out there that have not fallen yet.
Richard Childress, the owner of Richard Childress Racing, met with the media here earlier today at Michigan, the first time since the passing of Kyle Busch a little over 2 weeks ago. And he disclosed in that press conference that he and Kyle had inked a contract extension, and that contract extension would be announced this weekend here at MIS. However, Kyle has passed and he is no longer with us, which obviously that leaves question marks about who will drive that race car in 2027.
Change at the top of the leaderboard. Chris Buescher in single lap speeds has gone to the top. Ross Chastain and Bubba Wallace are second and third. 10 consecutive lap averages. William Byron is the best right now in a 10 consecutive lap average, followed by two 2311 race cars in Bubba Wallace and Riley Herbst.
More coming up with practice in a moment. First from Michigan International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
That they complain about grip. I just think the biggest challenge is, I think, for William Byron, the second group. Obviously, each and every week seems to have more of the contenders in it, although there is Busher and Chastain and Wallace in this group, but also the track just changes. It's kind of a little bit of a phenomenon. Dale, you and I talk about it all the time. We feel like in the 600, just the red flag for the moment of remembrance, we think changes the balance of the racetrack. Just for 90 seconds, cars not on the racetrack. So the second group always seems to be a good 201 miles an hour. Seems to be a good judge of what you need.
See the average for 15 lap on the board there, Byron. Not a lot of cars have ran more than 15 laps. Probably only about 10 or 11 cars. But Byron has to be pretty happy, even though the balance isn't perfect. I'm looking at the speeds, and his lap times are pretty decent. The last lap on the racetrack, lap 19, 38. Everybody else is in the 50s, 60s that are running as many laps as Williams. So he's well clear of everyone else, at least by a tenth, maybe a tenth and a half, with this many laps on his tires. Way up the racetrack here too, we're seeing cars use way more racetrack here at Michigan than they have in the past. We saw this earlier today in the truck race. That would have been considered out of the groove a couple of years ago, way up there in that third lane in turns 1 and 2. So he's moving around the racetrack, seeing where the comfort is. Right now, right in the middle of the racetrack in 3 and 4, there's a lot more racetrack above him there that he can go find speed in. But I like to see this racetrack widen out, Steve. It's been a while since the repave. This is probably one of the more durable repaves we've had on the series in a long time, and it was a 1.5 groove racetrack for a very, very long time. But now we're seeing cars get up out of this, over the top of that one seam. Left rear tire flat on the 2 car of Cindric, who's down in the middle.
I was wondering if we were going to see any rear tire issues.
We saw this last year.
We saw it last year. We sure did.
I know. I was a little...
Teams felt confident that the tire had been improved and maybe we wouldn't see as many of these issues. Kim, what you got?
Yeah, you heard it, flat left rear. I did want to add on Cindric, though, because we talked downforce versus trimmed out. They were one of the few teams that I talked to that actually came a little bit more trimmed out. Brian Wilson telling me how important quals is to them, where they are in points. Remember, just +2 to the good on the chase standings. Better opportunity to earn stage points, especially with that short first stage of 45 laps. Now, obviously, drawing this blow with the flat left rear, though.
Cindric.
Well, I was just going to say the concern I have with the flat left rear is you don't know what else, and that's why he stopped. So this car is drivable, but he doesn't want to drive it because he doesn't want to drag any of the parts and pieces off underneath the car, hurt the overall grip.
That's right.
They're going to air it up, I think, right here. So they plug in, boom. There you go. So they plug that into the A-post, and what it does is it extends the two rear shocks dramatically. You saw the back of the car. Maybe we get a replay. Like it's multiple inches. So he allows them to plug that air compressor, or basically an air canister, think of like a CO2 canister, into the A-post. It inflates the rear shocks completely to full extension, and then he can drive it in without dragging any of the rear diffuser off.
Student of the game. He knew to sit there and wait so he doesn't drive off, further damage the car. Let's rewind to some of the items we were talking about last year. One of the guys having issues, Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, Shane had an issue. Another Penske car had a flat tire. I think Reddick on the 2311 team had one as well.
And this left side tire has been run a lot this year. We run it in Vegas, Darlington, Kansas, Charlotte, Texas, even last week in Nashville. But the thing about Michigan is crazy because it's big and it's fast and it's sweeping as it is. The vertical loading here is not as high as, say, Charlotte. So it would encourage you, or Vegas. So it would encourage you to take a little bit more air out to try to get the back of that car down. And you can actually damage the left side tires more on the straightaway.
Yeah.
Like down the backstretch, the left rear tire has a tremendous amount of load. When you start to turn left, it kind of, pitches the load to the right side.
You wonder too, on this front straightaway, banked front straightaway, big D shape, it might set back down on that left rear a little bit down this front straightaway. So you may be getting on that left rear a lot more around the entire lap than you might at another D-shaped oval that's a little flatter like Texas or Charlotte and so forth. So their teammates will look at their air pressure, see where they're at. This is knowledge gained and earned the hard way for his teammates that are in the next group. Maybe they bump air pressure up a couple of tenths. And that's it's funny, we used to do half a pound or a pound years ago. Now it's down to the tenth of a pound. They may add into the tire to try not to have this issue anymore.
2 tire stops, big part of the equation tomorrow to gain track position.
Still going. 7 minutes and 25 seconds remain for Group 1, and all 19 cars in this opening group have taken at least one lap. Let's check in with Steve Post.
Listening to the conversation for Austin Cindric, and when that started, it literally started coming off from turn number 4, and when he went by, he had already notified the crew that he had a tire down, and we saw the left rear flat as he drove by, and they told him to stop down there. So, yes, they have been able to raise the car up, but there's still concern, just as Todd Gordon talked about, with the underpieces, and that's why Austin is taking it as slow as he is, to make sure that they don't do any more damage to any of the underside of the car. Brian Wilson, the crew chief, just said, okay, Austin, take care of the race car. We are not going to practice. We're going to look at the underside of it and see and make sure we're all good to go out and qualify. So do not damage the car. Take your time. And that's why he's limping around the racetrack right now. So once they get it in here, they'll look at the underside of that race car and see if damage is done on any parts of it, whether riding around the racetrack now or even when the tire went down earlier at high speed. And then they'll assess and see if they can get a qualifying run in here later today.
So as he works his way back around, there's an option. You could have it towed back to the pit lane, or the jack attenuator that we talked about, and that's what they've elected to do. If you put it on the tow truck, Todd, you risk the risk of dragging the splitter?
Yes, because you would ask them to pick it up by the rear axle. And basically, these tow trucks, these normal tow trucks, they've got a crossbar that has straps that come down and hook into the wheels. Well, if they pick the rear up, then they're going to push the splitter down over onto that. You're going to wear the sides of the splitter out. So this is the best way to kind of minimize how much damage happens underneath the car, as Brian Wilson told them, be careful with it coming back. This gets the rear up a couple inches so the diffuser's clear, but it doesn't push it over on the nose like a wrecker will, because a wrecker's going to pick it up a foot. and that will tip the nose of the car down beyond the front wheels and drag that on the ground. So this is the cleanest way for them to bring their race car back to pit road.
Austin has made it back to the pit road. Matter of fact, he clears pit entry right now and still at a snail's pace, making his way back to his Discount Tire pit area. So we are now down to 5 minutes to go in Group 1 practice for the Firekeepers Casino 400. From Michigan International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Hi, I'm Kyle Petty, and I want to tell you about a place.
Formats in IMAX.
If I'm going to be able to feel that change or not, but go for it if you want to.
Yeah, once you cycle the tires, it's really tough to understand whether the cycle itself has changed the car. I would trust the crew chief to be able to see through that information or that not, that understanding and be able to tell me whether, we've made the car better or not. And I don't know. Sometimes you just have to take some swings. See what works. It's rare you get opportunities to really do a lot of things in practice and making changes and seeing what they do. It's kind of a rare.
Like you mentioned 2 tires earlier. This is also a track where you're just not going to pit if you don't need fuel, if it doesn't put you in a fuel window. So you look at the one car, his fastest lap is 37, basically 70. I want to know, A, how fast the car refires, and B, what the balance is. So Dale, I might not make a change just like, well, we didn't change anything. Just let these tires go out and run another run and tell me if it changed the balance so I have a better idea. Because if we're already tight and they cycle tighter, that might steer me in a different decision pit strategy-wise.
It's crazy to me how this place is big and fast and wide open. Restarts are out of control. But as you said earlier, it's that magical mix because inevitably it does come down to creating track position through strategy. So many boxes to check here. And we check in now on Rookie of the Year driver Connor Zillich, 6th on the board in practice and in desperate need of a good run. This team, and we talked about Chastain, his teammate, but this group with the 88 just has had no luck at all in recent weeks.
In this group, he's 4th on 5-lap average, 6th on 10, and 3rd on 15. So I would say that this is, going in a good direction. 6th on the board overall. They've really struggled for comfort and speed. And this is the kind of racetrack where you can bring a guy that doesn't have a ton of experience in this car, and this is a simple task, right? There's not a lot of, each end of the racetrack is relatively similar. The line is pretty predictable. There's not a lot of challenges for a driver here. You give him a decent car and go out there and he can execute. So this is a great place to bring a driver and either get the reset button or bring a rookie to build some confidence. Solid speed so far.
It's been so tough for them, and we talk about, getting on a negative slide. But the residual impact of that is you go out in that first group of practice, maybe track doesn't have the speed, you don't get the read that you would like. You go out early in qualifying when the speed's not there. Maybe you don't qualify great, you don't get the great pit selection. And it's not all that difficult to connect some bad weeks if you can't get out in front of it, Steve.
I wasn't as concerned with the finishes, but I will tell you, if you look at his last 2 finishes, Charlotte 39th, Nashville 38th, what jumps out to me is he only got to run 52 laps at Charlotte, only got to run 71 laps at Nashville. This is a young man that just needs laps, just needs seat time. So it's not just a poor finish, it's the lack of laps. If you could run every lap at Nashville, and then not have the finish you want, you at least have a whole race worth of information. But when you get wrecked out in the first 100, you just didn't learn it.
Zillich did win an ARCA race here a couple of years ago, his only experience prior to the weekend. What do you have for us, Marty?
4th attempt at a run for Todd Gilliland, only 11 laps on the board. After the first lap, he pulled it in and had this to say on the radio.
Yeah, I'm just sideways landing. I think I'm probably going to come to this time. Limited load feels hard, but it might just be a balancing sideways.
So see, they were 2.5 seconds off after that first lap. They've got it more in the game, but they're still a second off plus from the top of the field, and only 11 laps on the books. And here comes Todd once again. So where do you go when you have something that's that far off this early in practice?
Well, this is every crew chief's nightmare, which is something is a complete miss. It's not just a little miss on balance or handling. It sounds to me like they have totally missed some sort of travel in the back of this car. So this car has 2 rear limiters. The shocks will actually bottom out. Most every car here is going to sit on the left rear limiter all the way around. I'm not sure you can really get on that too hard. Certain drivers may disagree with that assessment, but the right side is right there. And we're talking like the thickness of 2 or 3 credit cards can go from really good to undrivable. So now the question is it the left? Is it the right? What do they need to make changes? And to Marty's point, when you're multiple seconds off, it's really hard because you're not even up to speed yet to figure out what you need. So that 34 is going to have to make some big changes.
Such a fast racetrack, and if you can't be comfortable in a corner and use the throttle and carry speed, you're going to just bleed lap time all the way around. And when your car's not comfortable entering the corner, you're going to be way off, and that's frustrating because it's hard to find a good, comfortable common ground for Sunday's race. So very little time here in practice. We're going to pour over notes tonight, and hopefully you're making the right decisions. You and I have done that many times, man, on a Saturday night going, man, we're making all these changes. I hope this is what we're going to need.
We're going to ride on board with the 42 of John Hunter when it comes to the information. And look, we saw 200 miles an hour by yourself. Look at the difference of the draft.
Wow.
203 miles an hour on a lap time he just ran. You know, it doesn't jump off the board, right? The lap time is only a 38.3. It's by no means near the fastest lap. But the draft, we heard Brad talk about how the draft really magnifies the speed here. You're going to see it again on the backstretch. Rarely do we see 200 on the backstretch. You're going to see a little slower. But that toe. So now what he does is he gets out of line on the corner to get some air to the car to have some downforce. He's coming in now probably because of the dirty air. Yeah, Dale, I always thought those. I really hoped you made all the right decisions. I hoped it for the team, and I really hoped it for you because you had to barrel it off into turn 1, like in the car. And there's only so many things I can change during the race. So I think there are certain things you hedge because you know you can back out of them.
Yeah.
But then some things you're married to.
And this racetrack, the front straightaway is a big, long arch, but you carry throttle way down into turn 1 and 2. And man, if you're loose in, you can't carry the throttle down in there. You're going to be struggling all day long. 41 car here, Cole Custer, 9th on the board.
Yeah, pretty good. 15th at the Glen, 16th at Charlotte, 21st at Nashville. Nobody's going to start circling those and say they're magic, but if you look at where he was in the first 10 races, I see that as trending up, like in the right direction. They're finding their way to get through other people's mistakes, other people's issues, get the car, back to my point about running the laps, get the car to the finish of the race.
Just over a minute to go, Group 1 practice. I'd like to take a little trip down memory lane. You know what I mean? Because someone in the booth has experienced great success here. Ended a couple of winless streaks celebrating in the Irish Hills, Dale.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this place was always fun to come to because if you've got a great race car, it's a great place to hit the reset button for a team that might be struggling. Kind of built that little program into something to be proud of.
When it does drive good here and the lap time pays off, you also on pit road, there's no strategy that won't work. People talk a lot about strategy. Well, it starts with you have to have a car that works. And that was really right on the repave, that second win. And man, that thing that day was so fast. We just needed to keep it towards the front. Buscher, the fastest car in this practice, kind of reminds me of that, right? There's those races that that race he won here, he kind of got out front and did a masterful job playing chess, keeping that track position.
I talked to Scott Graves, though, his crew chief down in the garage, and he felt like he made one miscue in that race last year that lost him some track position. He said we could never get it all the way back. Finished second, but he said it was that call middle stages that cost me, and I know it still hurts, and I know that's the case for you guys each and every time you feel like you had an opportunity and didn't quite get the payoff. There's Scott.
And the worst part is you normally know it first. Like as a crew chief, you hear everybody else is thinking about the blue sky. These new tires are going to help. This adjustment's going to help. And as a crew chief, you're like, nope, I have messed this up. You guys will see it in about an hour, but this was a mistake that is going to bite us.
Well, a couple of cars I liked out of that practice right there. The 17, the 1, the 24, all looking pretty sporty. The second group, though, is going to be full of a lot of contenders. Really going to give us a good picture of what kind of speed you're going to need tomorrow.
Some big-time contenders. Great stories coming up in Group 2. Group 1.
Practice 191.367 miles per hour.
From Michigan International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Check out the Motor Racing Network's Wing Nation with Steve Post, Ashley Stremme, and the First Lady of Dirt Racing, World of Outlaws winner, Erin Evernham. Each week, Wing Nation goes in-depth with the stars of local tracks, high-limit racing, and the World of Outlaws. Check out Wing Nation interviews on the Wing Nation Facebook page, YouTube channel, or follow along on Instagram or X at Wing Nation. Your go-to for sprint car talk, Wing Nation.
Are you ready for sights, sounds, and speed that'll shake you to your core? To see NASCAR stars like Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin, and Ross Chastain attack the asphalt? Are you ready to make memories that'll last a lifetime? Yeah? You're ready. Then we got one more question. What are you waiting for? To experience the thrill of a NASCAR race in person, visit NASCAR.com/tickets.
This is Joey Logano. You're tuned into the NASCAR Cup Series on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Back here at Michigan on a sun-drenched now Michigan International Speedway. Group 1 practice wrapped up. Chris Buescher the fastest on single-lap speeds. On the 15 consecutive lap run, William Byron was the best. Ross Chastain, Connor Zilisch, John Hunter Nemechek, and Austin Hill, the fast 5 on the 15 consecutive lap run.
Now it's time for Group 2, and here's how they shake down. We mentioned the heavy hitters that are in this one. You got Austin Dillon in Group 2, along with his brother Ty. Kyle Larson will be in this one, along with Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, Joey Logano, Eric Jones, and Zane Smith.
With Ty Gibbs, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Carson Hocevar, Shane Van Gisbergen, Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and Denny Hamlin.
Now, in Group 1, we only had 3 Toyota teams that were on the racetrack. Bubba Wallace, Riley Herbst, and John Hunter Nemechek. One of the big storylines coming into this weekend is, can Toyota continue what they've done? They're going for their 3rd consecutive Michigan win, but Alex, with all the winning they have done this year, there is no question they will have to be dealt with tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely, they will be. This has been the strongest manufacturer this year, and have been able to get them the lion's share of the wins to this point. But that doesn't mean Ford and Chevrolet are rolling over and just handing over this trophy. Not by a long shot. It's not even in the question. I think that, yes, they will have to be dealt with, but I also think both of the other manufacturers are going to be awfully strong this weekend. Michigan is just a completely different style racetrack from what we have anywhere else that we go.
Let's get the thoughts of William Byron, who ended his practice in 4th. Jason?
All 3 of their cars top 10 here a year ago. Heavy hearts this weekend in the NASCAR community. We lost a great one yesterday. Ned Jarrett passed away, Dale.
Yeah, Ned wore a lot of different hats over the course of his life, and obviously we'll all talk about the wins and the championships and his broadcasting career. He did a lot as well for short track racing, a promoter at Hickory, a promoter at Metrolina. This guy had a full life and impacted the sport in so many ways, and so it's. We will celebrate him over the next, several days and look back on his life and career, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And he did a lot of great things for NASCAR.
Champion, Hall of Famer, legendary broadcaster, class act. Gentleman Ned Jarrett was 93 years old.
The 2 words that best describe Ned Jarrett are dedication and devotion. driving steadily like the champion he is.
Consider myself one of the hardest chargers.
There's Ned Jarrett taking the checkered flag.
For me, this is the beginning of the end. The end of a 13-year career as a stock car racer. Being my family gives you one reason I'm quitting.
Let's go to the pit area now, where Ned Jarrett is standing by.
Just making the field was quite an accomplishment for some. So Dale and Dale's show has become off of turn 4. He's going to make it. Dale Jarrett's going to win the Daytona 500. Oh, can you believe it? Well, I tell you, I'm really proud of you. You did just exactly what you had to do, like I told you, right?
Introducing Subway's new fresh value menu. 15 protein pack choices.
92 champion
MRN Classic Races.
In the whole pack, steaming for the finish line, Dale Earnhardt wins a Winston 500.
Find all the classic moments on MRN Classic Races on any podcast platform.
This is William Byron. You're tuned into the NASCAR Cup Series on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Back here at Michigan International Speedway, NASCAR Cup Series practice and pole qualifying coverage on MRN is presented by E3 Spark Plugs. Stuck in slow motion? Unleash the NASCAR fire inside your engine with E3 Spark Plugs. Forget pit stops too. E3 gives you maximum fuel efficiency for more miles on the road and less time at the pump. E3 Spark Plugs. Power, speed, domination. Get yours today.
Bittersweet Group 1 practice for the fastest car, Chris Buescher, 191.367. He set the mark to beat there for the first grouping of cars. However, an update from technical inspection indicates they will lose their pit selection for this event. Car Chief Josh Sisko has been ejected for issues in technical inspection. So the fastest car in Group 1 going to be behind the 8 ball just a tad.
Yeah, Josh Sisko likes to play golf. Get a chance to go to the golf course now. But Josh is a second-generation NASCAR Cup Series crew member. His dad, Buddy Sisko, was a longtime crew chief here in the garage area, but Josh, the car chief now at Roush Fenway Keselowski.
So what's the ripple effect of losing pit selection at a track like Michigan, Todd?
Oof. Yeah, that's a tough one. And what will happen is NASCAR will assign their pit stall, and it won't be in a preferred area. It'll be breaking up a longer stretch of pit road, but that way the teams that do get to select don't end up getting that 17 car stuck in a box in front of them. They get to pick around that car and however they want to be, whether they want to be separated or in front of it. That's all assigned for them. But when you look at this pit road and just getting off of pit road and where you get to, this is a tough place to not have good pit selection.
This track, and there's a lot of tracks we go to with the metric in the two different groups. Group 1 a lot of times can be at a disadvantage, sometimes more severe of a disadvantage than other times. What about here at Michigan? Is this a track where track conditions change that drastically from Group 1 to Group 2?
So actually I think because we ran this
multi-year journey of resilience, redemption, and the pursuit of the improbable. Stream Kyle Larson versus the double now on Prime. Getting set for Group 2 practice before the cars roll. Let's go down to Kim Kuhn.
Yeah, Adam, we're going to get a quick word with William Byron as he finishes up debriefing with crew chief Rudy Fugel. William, Dale Jr. said your car looks sporty. How did it feel, though, there at the end of that practice session?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's doing a lot of good things. I feel like our balance could still be a little bit better, so but I think it's all fixable. So yeah, I think overall felt good. We were good here last year, and I feel like we're starting to get a handle on this this car a little better. So hopefully just just have a smooth weekend. You know, try not to have any execution things and just execute qualifying really well. We go out a little early, but I don't think it'll be a huge disadvantage with the track temperature. So just have a smooth weekend. Exalta Chevy looks good. I feel like I'm in a Texas Longhorns fire suit, so that's exciting.
With the up and downs you've had this season, how do you kind of maintain your focus and know that it eventually will get better?
Yeah, I mean, when you drive it's pretty easy. When you drive for Hendrick Motorsports, you always have hope coming to the racetrack that you're going to be good. So all week I was pretty upbeat. I was like, man, I know exactly what I need to work on coming to Michigan, and my team has been in cohesion all the time. I mean, we've had frustrating moments, but we always get through it Monday or Tuesday. So yeah, it's just around the corner. We just got to keep pushing.
Thanks, William.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a surprise this year to see this team, I would say, struggle. They're outside the top 10 in points, and certainly didn't see themselves in this position at this point in the season. And it's a great place for them to come to try. You mentioned the speed they had here last year, and they're probably thinking, gosh, this is a great place for us to come back and kind of see where we are. Even if they can't match the performance from last year, at least maybe they see kind of how far off they are, get a better understanding of some of the challenges they need to focus on to improve their cars.
You look at the points, though, and you referenced outside the top 10, Byron's 11th. But we have talked so much in this new points configuration, Dale, you can't have bad days. When you look at the 24 team, in the last 7 races, they've either been in the top 10 or outside the top 30. It's ping-ponging back and forth. Your bad days have to be 15. That's what Reddick has done, and theirs haven't been. And when you have those kinds of days, it's hard to overcome it.
Well, he's kind of like a little bit of a fence line here, right? He has 26 points to move forward, but he's only 15 points over 15, right? So when I look at this grouping here, Byron is at the front of a very tightly packed group when you look at points. He wants to kind of get a little breathing room behind him. It's really hard to believe when you look at this. Keselowski is 310 points behind. He's only scored 347 points. So that's the unbelievable pace that Reddick has set at the beginning of this season.
Sometimes the math is mean in NASCAR, you know?
Yeah.
Chase Elliott been the model of consistency in 2026. That's why he has a spot inside the top 5. Group 2 rolls 25 minutes to get it dialed in for 400 miles tomorrow at Michigan. Say the model of consistency. The reality is Chase has not just been consistent, but a couple of wins have put him in the positioning he's in, which is great for this team. Winning early, getting that behind you, helping yourself in the standings.
Yeah, he was very consistent last year, and he didn't like that analogy. He didn't want to be thought of as a consistent driver. He was wanting those wins, and he even said so. He gets out of the car after the win earlier in the season. He said, this is the earliest in the year we've ever won.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, how do you even know that? Right? Like, why does that matter to you? And he's thinking, well, we get one win out of the way, we can start stacking them. And he's ready to get number 3. But he's got his work cut out for him. Over the past several weeks, we've seen the Toyotas with the advantage they have, and interesting to see. This looks like 1 week it's Chase Elliott, the next week maybe it's Larson. Seems like the Chevrolets maybe closing that gap just a little bit each week.
Talk about Byron, Larson, Chase Elliott. Hendrick Motorsports has not won at Michigan since 2014 when Jeff Gordon got it done, which just seems hard to imagine.
I mean, the organization only has 2 wins all year, which is a bit surprising with Larson on over a year now, winless streak. Reddick jumps to the top of the board at a 192.0 for average speed of 37.5. Elliott right behind him. So much like the first group, the second lap on tires, third lap probably could even get better yet. Larson jumps to 3rd, so not a big surprise. Track normally has a little bit more pace, plus these are the heavy hitters for them. Yeah, Reddick improves 37.3.
Been a good track for Reddick.
That's a nice lap. His owner, Denny Hamlin, back there jumps to 5th on the board with a 37.6, 3/10 off Tyler's lap. Chase Elliott runs a 46 on his 3rd lap, which improves his time somewhat.
See the highlight to the right of the name in the pylon, letting you know which cars are a part of Group 2. Let's go to Kim.
Yeah, Tyler Reddick still looking for more security out of that race car twice. He's told his team it's too free. He said it's freer than I like to be, and then continuing, I'm on edge here. So when he does bring it in, they'll look to tighten it up for the 45 car.
is a track that being tight just kills your speed. Being loose is uncomfortable for the driver.
Steve referenced the fact that Kyle Larson is inside the top 5. Got his first career victory at Michigan 10 years ago. The first of 3 in a row at this place. I mean, he came here, he finds victory lane, then he was unbeatable in the Irish Hills.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive, the speed they've had over the last couple of weeks. Led a good chunk of Nashville. Seemed like he might have had something for the Toyotas at Charlotte at points in that race. So I feel like that this team's closing in on breaking that winless streak. Great racetrack for them to do it here with the success he's had. The 3 wins. But it's been a while. The last one there you see from August 2017. 3rd on the board overall.
Top 4 in the pylon, all from Group 2. And number 4 on the board, the man that won here last year and took the checkered flag Sunday evening at Nashville, Denny Hamlin.
Well, curious about his lap times here. The last lap on the racetrack at 37.80, lap 6. And so looking at Larson, Elliott, Reddick, they're in the 60s, 40s, 50s. So a little bit better. Reddick just ran another 50, 37.50 at lap 7. And Denny is going to run a 76. So a couple of tenths there on this race car that I think Denny needs. I don't know if he's out there pushing 100%. If we're seeing everything this 11 car has, but over the past couple of weeks, he has been the best car. More often than most, wouldn't you say, the best car on the racetrack. I'm not sure that they unloaded with that this weekend. A little bit of work to do maybe to match the 45 of Reddick.
I find him the hardest driver to tell because he's been vocal that he doesn't care about practice times. So it's hard to judge how much he loves it, but this was it. That's coming to 1 to go. 3 wide down to the turn 1, and the 11 lifts earlier than the 20 and just rolls the bottom of the racetrack, gets back to the gas super early. That is such a veteran move. So easy to try. Too hard or overdrive the corner. Being patient, rolling the bottom, beat his 2 teammates. And I think that's just like we were talking about in practice, right? He did something that is very hard to do and just drove his car just to the limit. And I feel like that's what he does in practice, right? Like, look right here, lap 8, another 37.7. Like, he's literally just running the same lap time over and over and over again. So unless you're in the mind of that guy in the bottom right or you're his crew chief in the debrief, I just don't know if he's really honest about how his car is, you know, in the interviews. He just holds it close to his vest.
Yeah, to elaborate a little bit, to your point, Steve, everyone, you know, Reddick, Elliott, Larson, they've fallen off into the 8s, the 9s, even the 38 flats. Denny's still running those 7s, those 8s, and he's not been great on restarts. And he told us, my car's not comfortable on restarts. My car's not comfortable on new tires. I've got it set up so that I'm great when I want to be great toward the end of these runs. So he's given up a little bit of comfort and speed and aggression on restarts, and firing off in practice on new tires as well would play into that. So we'll continue to see the lap time. He's sitting there running those 37.80s. If he can do that more than or better or longer than anyone else, you know, that'll show up late in the race.
8 minutes into Group 2 practice in Michigan. Reddick, Elliott, Larson, Busher, Hamlin, the top 5.
Top of the 5 and 10 consecutive lap run as well. So Reddick has speed in the car. Denny Hamlin has speed in the car. They've won the last 2 cup races here at Michigan.
William Byron showing some speed. You've also got Ross Chastain, Connor Zilic. They are 1, 2, 3 in 15 lap averages, but we're also waiting for some of these Group 2 cars to get into that 15 lap range. You know, we talk a lot about Chevrolet and what they have and have not done. They have the new body. We've been waiting for things to kick in. Perhaps maybe this is an opportunity day tomorrow for Hendrick Motorsports and the rest of the Chevy contingent.
You're right about that. There's speed to be had out there. To take it a step further, Carson Hocevar in a draft just hit 205 miles an hour going off into turn number 1. But Chevrolet, Steve Post, what are they going to have this weekend? There's other storylines as well to follow up on the pit lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And just kind of following up on the Austin Cindric car, it sits here on the ground, waiting to go out and qualify, as they have got that car all buttoned up. And really, you have to look very, very close up under the left rear to see some tape on that strake, on that up and down bar on the diffuser on it. They actually went and looked all in the front, and we discussed this. Todd Gordon discussed it with putting a tow truck on it or damaging the front. There is absolutely no damage on the nose of the race car. Austin Cindric does a great job running at 200 mile an hour. He did a great job running at 15, keeping this car safe so they can go out and do a qualifying run.
Problems for Denny Hamlin on the racetrack. He has a flat left rear tire. He's been able to limp it back to the entrance of pit road. He has crossed the commitment line coming into pit road. Matter of fact, Michael McDowell just drove around him, headed to his pit stall, and we were waiting to see if the red flag is going to be displayed, which will bring everybody to a halt here. But basically, Denny Hamlin, Alex, dead in the water at pit entry.
Look down at Shannon Bednarik on top of the flag stand. Red flag is tucked away. They, at the moment, aren't interested at all in slowing this practice session down, and now they're going to have to, because Denny Hamlin still sits in a precarious spot. He is not behind the pit wall, even though he's past the commitment line. And finally, the red flag goes in the air, and this is going to be another stoppage that could hurt some of these teams out there with this set of tires.
So this is the second flat tire we have seen in the practice session. The first coming from Austin Cindric, the second from Denny Hamlin. Steve Post, what's the update there on James Dennis?
Yeah, same thing, really. Same scenario here, except
just listen real close. Hear this thing start bottoming out. Now, Denny recognizes not only the sound of the car bottoming out, but also the balance change.
Flat left rear.
Chasing the back of the car a little bit. Second,
you need to park.
I'm close to pit road. I'm close to the stall. Maybe I'll drive it. Maybe I won't. So he comes to pit road. Now he's going to go super slow here. Try to get to his stall. Now, Steve, why do they?
I'm tearing it up. I'm going to turn inside the wall then.
Why is it so? Why is it so sensitive to the bottom? Explain that.
Well, just because the airspeed over the bottom of that racetrack, the floor itself is perfectly smooth, and then these vertical strakes they organize the air. And I will tell you, they set this floor plan, plus or minus. The tolerance is plus or minus 100 thousandths. They set it plus or minus like 10 thousandths. So anytime those vertical strakes of the diffuser hit the ground and they either change shape or become damaged, the airspeed changes, and it just takes away all the downforce. And that's what he's afraid of dragging off, is that left rear.
And what people might ask, why he didn't, stop and get pumped up like the 2-car. Maybe they don't have this. Does every team have?
Per the radio, I don't think that he has the lift system on.
So some teams can have it, some teams can choose
not to run it because it weighs a little bit, but it's also in the back of the car, and most of these guys want more nose weight, which means they just don't want weight back there. I assume that's what he's talking about. Kim, what are you hearing?
Yeah, because I was going to ask Steve. Denny asked if he could stop in the very first pit stall entering pit road and take care of the problem there. They asked NASCAR. NASCAR said no. So what would be the reason for that ruling? Why couldn't he just stop there outside of what you just said?
Well, I think NASCAR's encouraging these teams, like, they would rather everybody run the lift system. That way you could get aired up and you drive it back. So they want to get back to practice. It's a balance, right? The 11 cares about their car. The NASCAR doesn't not care about the 11 car, but they want to get this track back green. So they're like, hey man, drive that thing back to the pit stall and let's get going for the next car. I was trying to see on the A post here. It doesn't look to me like it has. They're going to put a new left rear on it.
Halfway through Group 2 practice. Track is hot again.
The interesting thing is they're going to really look over this 11 car. It's really hard to tell if you've drug or done any damage. Unfortunately for the 11, they're probably not going to have another set of tires for practice, so the next lap is going to be qualifying. Officials looking there because they're going to have to change some parts and pieces if possible.
Yeah, they probably drug off a little bit of those, the diffuser, and they're probably going to want to replace whatever needs to be replaced. It's a tough situation. No doubt it's damaged.
Chase Briscoe on track in the 19, won the pole here last year. Coming off a top 5 at Nashville, that 1-2-3 for Joe Gibbs Racing. You see it there into pylon, 25th right now in the practice session. Christopher Bell making laps as well. He's 20th on the board. Bell's had speed here over the years, been on the wrong side of, cautions that came just at a bad time for them when you talk about pit cycles, so didn't get the finishes they deserved, but he's never been able to find his way to the top 10 in a Cup race at Michigan.
He comes into this one so frustrated from last week. I bet he's ran last week's race and the finish to that race 1,000 times over in his head, wondering what he could have done differently on that last lap to secure the win, because I think Denny even said or felt like this was the best car. Christopher Bell had the best car last week, so he feels like he's kind of had to sit in the shadows a little bit while all of the other Toyota drivers have had wins and run really well this year, and he's like, hey, I've got the same equipment, let's capitalize. Why haven't we been able to capitalize this year? He's ready to start to make that run to the finish.
Well, you just think about the way these races played out and the positive position that they were in, both at Charlotte and the Coke 600 and last Sunday night. Didn't get the payoff, a pair of runner-ups, 3 in total in 2026. We have, by the way, added a couple of minutes to the practice session after Denny Hamlin rolled to a stop. You saw he's out of the race car talking things over with the crew.
Christopher Bell's moved his overall best lap up into the top 15 on his 9th lap, run a 37.70. Don't see a lot of teams run fast that deep into the tire run. Joe Logano on his 10th lap ran a 37.80, but most everybody else, as you mentioned, Steve, run their best lap around lap 3 or so on the tire. So anytime you can go out there and put down a really solid lap, jumps you inside the top 15 on lap 9 or 10 of the tire run, you're feeling pretty good about your speed.
Looking at that last lap of Kyle Larson, I would spend a little time right here working on fuel consumption. He ran a 37.6 on his fast lap and a 37.7 on lap 14. Now there is yellow and the tires cooled, but that's what would happen in the race, right? The caution would come out, you would cool your tires down, and they'd fire off with, I won't say as much grip, but I'll take a 10th or 2 slower on tires and clean air over the guy back at 8th or 10th all day, every day. So now it's going to be a real battle on fuel consumption, and when you put fuel in, and it's going to be a Rubik's Cube for all these crew chiefs to figure out when the appropriate time is to put fuel.
Michigan has been a great track over the years for Ford as a manufacturer, which is important when you're racing 90 minutes from Detroit. Won 9 of the last 11, and a part of that victory train. Number 12, Ryan Blaney, won here 2021.
Yeah, it's a completely different package and different race car horsepower, but they did everything they could all day long to give him that opportunity to have the track position in the race car to get across the finish line first, and trying to accomplish the same goal here this weekend with this 12 car. You know, they saw their teammate, the number 2 of Cindric, have the flat tire, and kind of concerned and worry about air pressures in the back of these cars on what they need to do. And
I'd like to see the then and now photo of the kid that got the checkered flag 5 years ago.
I wonder if the left rear is up on this car. It looks a little soft coming to pit road as well. We'll take a check of that on Blaney.
9 minutes to go, Group 2 practice.
At Burger King, you tell us what goes on the menu.
We want to know what you want.
To get your thoughts. You've obviously been a part of a multi-car team that has been successful with more than one car having successes. What is it like being at the middle part of a racing season and you're ruling the roost? You're winning races. You're in the hunt every single week. What is it like not falling into complacency and being happy with what we have, while at the same time pushing to make yourself better for what is coming in the last 10 races in the chase at the end of the year?
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you're off to make changes, but you still have to make the changes, because if you ever settle and say we're good enough, you'll be passed. And that's just one of those situations that you've got to continue to push yourself forward. You try to do it in a smart manner, because you do have success. You have a recipe that works right now, but how can I make that recipe a little bit better? You've got to continue to push. And like we saw last week, I think Adam Stevens and Christopher Bell, they don't want to run second. So they're going to push a little bit harder to see if they can be the best JGR car as they come forward. Likewise for Chase Briscoe. Denny Hamlin continues. We've never seen him sit on his laurels. He's continuing to push himself forward.
So how do you then balance the dynamic of the race team trying to beat your own racing team? You got essentially the same equipment, but you want to beat them for race wins and the championship.
You try to out-strategize them. You try to put yourself in better positions. Those are things, and that's one of those, when you get to this part of racing and you have that much success within the organization, it's something you're going to do. You're going to race your teammates for it. You got to, as Joe sits there, he's got to say, go ahead and race. Just don't wreck each other, and don't cost us a win. And that's one of those situations that you've got to make sure that you understand when the engagement can happen and when you need to lay off of it so that your organization can be most successful.
Let's get an update on Denny Hamlin with Steve Post.
Denny's been down here looking at the car, and just layman's eye or radio guy's eye, he did significantly less damage on that strake and on the diffuser than Austin Cindric did. In fact, they're using just about a couple inches of tape on one little piece of it up at the front, where Cindric's crew was using tape all the way the full length of it. So Denny apparently did no damage on that diffuser of the car. In fact, Denny looked under the car and got up with a quizzical look, and then went down to his teammate Ty Gibbs' car and looked under his and kind of shrugged his shoulders like there was no difference between the two diffusers. So that's good news for it. And now the crew has kind of shifted from the damage repair to getting the car prepped. There's one man at the top, the front of the car, cooling the engine down. They're running it real quick just to make sure that everything is good as far as the data, the computer on it. But looks like Denny Hamlin's going to do a regular qualifying run here once we get to that portion of this afternoon's program.
So if you're a Denny Hamlin fan, that is super news to say the least. Now, as we continue to
7, and he's out there only 2/10 slower after almost 20 laps on the racetrack. Reddick is by far, in my opinion, maybe the best car here. Clearly.
Hey, Steve.
Clearly the best.
He said it's ridiculous, is what he said.
Yeah.
Well, I got a lot of grief over the week saying that I thought maybe Reddick had fallen off because he wasn't winning 5 races in a row. And
Reddick must have heard you.
He was only running in the top 5 and not winning races. But we got a little issue right here.
Right there, right in front of Reddick. That's a
left front tire, yeah.
Left front.
Christopher Bell.
Yeah.
Second driver from Joe Gibbs Racing to have an issue here.
Rare you see
practice.
left front, Steve.
Yeah.
I think it's the left front, guys.
Surprised it's the left front. Normally it is the left rear, but this is clearly a left front. You saw the smoke in front of him. I'm so thankful to do TV. I don't want to be going to my hotel room worried about how much air I have to run on the left side tires tomorrow. Right in front of the 45 on the outside of Larson. That'll get your attention.
Yeah.
Right there, you see the sparks or probably the hardware that's holding the splitter on. And then this turn down, man, that is going to be damaged. That's going to be parts and pieces they're going to want to change. 43 as well, we're hearing has issues. Listen. You hear it. He hits that bump, and you hear that little tick of the back of the car, and he knows that is not working. So, tire count going up quickly at this point. The bigger concern is that, this isn't happening right away. I mean, this is 3/4 of the way or almost 90% of the way through practice. Marty.
Yeah, and Eric Jones did say on the radio when he came in after his first run, I kind of had a vibration from the beginning of that run. Did all the tires look fine? They said, yes, they did look fine, but obviously a problem for the 43 as well. So Toyota's having some issues here in Group B.
So here's the challenge. As a team member, you're going to look this car over and see if there's any damage. Now, if there's obvious damage, NASCAR is going to absolutely change the parts and pieces. But you can't say, you know what, we're just going to be safe and change them anyway. That's not how it works. If there's no damage, NASCAR is not going to let you just start changing items on your car. Now, I would imagine by the length of this thing dragging on the left front, they're going to change it. The question is, do they go qualify? You would qualify for your pit pick would be the only reason. They probably figure they could be better than last. Say they can qualify 30th. I know it sounds crazy, but 7 spots in front of last at least gives you 7 choices The 17 of Buescher will be last. He lost his pit pick because it took him 3 times through inspection. So you know you're going to be in front of him. Here's the 43's tire off the car, flat.
We had flats in practice last year, and that trended in a good direction for the race. I'm not, last week we had the brake issues. I don't think this tire issue is, likely going to be this frequent on Sunday, tomorrow, but I would say the teams are probably really aggressive on air right now because they can be, right? The 71 having an issue as well.
That's the first time we've seen a Chevy with a tire issue so far in practice.
There might not be a flat. He's just slow there. Yeah. I was looking at the platform of the car and didn't really see why, there's no flat tire. The platform looks fine, but he's just slow. But I'm just saying, it's like tomorrow, they're going to get less aggressive, more conservative on their air pressures. And we'll probably see the same thing we saw last year. Issues in practice, less of these issues tomorrow.
I agree. I think the garage will adapt.
Yeah.
2 minutes remains in practice for Group 2. Then we'll load up for qualifying on board with Chase Elliott.
Chase moving that steering wheel around. You think those cars, when you're watching them from a distance, they look like they're not really moving around, not very uncomfortable, but you can see as he goes through the corner, fighting the wheel, trying to make lap time. Chase run a 37.9, 23 laps on his tires. Not a terrible lap.
You look at the 10-lap average, second right behind Reddick.
Reddick is just so much better than everybody else.
3 of the top 5 from Hendrick. Larson up there, Byron as well. When you look at that 10-lap average, bodes well for what we could see from HMS here tomorrow, perhaps.
Chase is going to come pit road real hard here, try to be aggressive, and going to have probably potential to do some green flag stops tomorrow. Get a good look at that.
Well, and this is one that you don't really see guys miss pit road, but you can't be too fast. I can almost encourage you.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's easy, but it's pretty straightforward to turn off the banking and get pointed in the right direction, unlike in Nashville. But it is really easy to be carrying too much speed and not get it slowed down enough for the first line.
It's interesting, the pit road here, big, and boxes are big and all of that. The one challenge, though, when you pit under caution can be that we keep so many cars on the lead lap here that when you make a pit stop under caution, very congested down there on the pit lane.
And just a lot of different plans. Like at Darlington, you kind of know everyone's changing 4 tires. So even as a driver leaving, if the pit crew's not on the left side, you kind of just rule those cars out. Where here, it could be 2 tires, it could be just lefts, it could be 4, it could be gas only. There's so many differing opinions, differing strategies. 22 of Logano. I just don't know what to make of this organization, this team. 15th right now here today. I'm not willing to think that this team is going to just continue to, I don't know, just like benign is the word that comes to mind. Right? There's just not a lot of firepower, not a lot of fear out of this 22 to have some speed. They found a way, top 10 at Charlotte, 14th at Nashville, but
able to jump above and have an opportunity to get back into a position to be a part of the equation in the fall.
Yeah, I saw Joey in the garage earlier. He's in good spirits. He kind of just is ready to have more speed, right? Wants the car to drive a little bit better at times, but I think more than anything, he just wants some overall more pace.
Group 2 practice is complete. Top 3 from Group 2. Reddick, Elliott, Larson, Buescher a hold.
From Michigan International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
When you devour Jack Links, the official real meat protein snack of NASCAR, you could win twice. First, because real meat protein can help your hair grow thick, long, and voluptuous.
Bro, that mullet is looking thick, long, and voluptuous.
You know it. And second, because you can enter the Jack Links Eat, Meet, and Win sweepstakes for a chance to win 4 epic NASCAR getaways, tickets, and more at jacklinks.com/NASCAR. Mullet voluptuousness and length may vary. Enter now at jacklinks.com/NASCAR. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends 12/31/26. U.S. residents 18 or older. Void where prohibited. Sponsor Link Snacks Inc.
Welcome to NASCAR.
This is Chase Elliott. You're tuned into the NASCAR Cup Series on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Opportunity for the crews right now to make some final adjustments to their cars to get ready for that one and only lap of qualifying to set the starting lineup for the Firekeepers Casino 400.
Don't forget to join us tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. NASCAR Live Race Day will be on the air as we will count you down to the Firekeepers Casino 400. We're going to go one-on-one with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 4th place finish last weekend in Nashville. Him and his Hayek Motorsports team finishing very well last weekend. We're also going to give you the progressive keys to the race. We will also remember Ned Jarrett, who passed away earlier this week. Matter of fact, a couple of days ago, we lost Ned at the age of 93. He was a key member of Motor Racing Network beginning back in 1978, and we will celebrate the life and legacy of Ned Jarrett. We'll talk to drivers before we go green in what we anticipate to be a beautiful day for racing tomorrow here in the Irish Hills.
Supposed to be in the low to mid 80s tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. It's going to be perfect if you're planning on coming out to the track. Make sure you bring your sunscreen and settle in for a great day of NASCAR Cup Series racing here. Once we wrap up here in Michigan this weekend, it's off to the Pocono Raceway in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. Very much look forward to that. And then in 2 weeks, for the first time, the most highly anticipated races we've seen in a long time outside of the streets of Chicago a few years ago, NASCAR.
This is what we get for a top 10. Tyler Reddick, fastest man in town. Here's Marty Snyder.
4th fastest for Chris Buescher. He was in Group A, got to watch Group B there. So what did you learn about your race car in that session, Chris?
I was pretty happy. I think everybody's done a really nice job. It's always fun to come back to Michigan here where we've been so strong. So, yeah, the car drove really well. Wrapped exactly where we were trying to aim for. And, I think qualifying is going to be a lot of fun here. We've been wide open here a couple years in a row, and a little warmer today, but I'm excited not to be first going out today.
When you're wide open like that, you have to talk yourself into it and say, hey, psych yourself up to do it?
Yeah, the old school days of carburetor, we would lie a lot and say we were wide open, and now there's way too much data back here to prove us wrong, so you have to commit, otherwise they're going to call you out for it. So, yeah, you better put that left foot on top of the other.
All right, after a rough couple of weeks, I bet Chris Buescher's glad to be here at Michigan where he has a few straight top 10s, Kim.
Tyler Reddick, top of the board for practice. Your car was very fast, but I know a little bit uncomfortable, edgy there. Did you finally get it to where it felt good at the end of practice?
Yeah, we certainly did. When you have a car this fast, our Rockstar Energy Toyota Camry, you want to go out there and rip laps, but yeah, we felt good enough about our pace and everything that, Billy was good with coming in and making a couple, adjustments, if you will. In the first one, we weren't really happy with it, but we were very happy with what it did for me on the second one. So it's always good when you got a really fast car and it's like, hey, we can make it drive better. I know everyone else probably wants to hear that, but we love hearing that. So yeah, I was just really happy with the Rockstar Energy Toyota Camry today. Every time we come here to Michigan, we're really fast. We won here in 2024, and I kind of threw it away last year. So yeah, we're hungry to get back to victory lane. It's been a minute. We've all kind of been telling ourselves, hey, we've won 5 races, all that's great, but it's been a minute. We need to win again, so we'll get to it.
With team owner Denny Hamlin winning last weekend, you unfortunately lost a bet, and you're sporting the Denny Bros on the passenger side window of your car. Is this where the betting ends, or will there be subsequent bets?
We'll see. Yeah, we went after him pretty hard in Nashville. Rambo and the guys did. We're having a lot of fun with it, and we got beat pretty bad. So we'll see how this weekend goes, and we'll see if we're up for round 2 in the future.
I don't know. Based on practice, guys, it feels hard to bet against Tyler Reddick here in Michigan.
Yeah, I feel like I know. I mean, the Denny Bros deal started in the studio at Dirty Mo Media with Travis, who's a big fan and friend with Denny, and I don't know, man. We don't have this trademarked. we're not selling T-shirts.
Well, I can tell you right now, wherever Travis is, he can't exit anymore because his head just grew so big that I'm not sure he's going to get out of the facility.
For those watching on YouTube, coverage continues on Prime Video with qualifying. It gets underway in just a few minutes. Practice is done. We're ready to qualify.
Yeah, the track's fully rubbered in with that truck race, like you said, and all the cup practice. So I'm going to watch Connor on the tablet, and we'll see how much throttle we can carry.
All right, there you go. Ross Chastain. Been a busy boy today. He's still got one more lap to put in. How about Steve Post?
Yeah, Ross, talking with Ross Chastain down here. I'm wandering along with Brad Keselowski. He's kind of chatting with Noah Gragson. Brad, first and foremost, just getting a chance to race here in the home state again, and I know it's always special to you to be back here at Michigan.
Sure is, Postman, and just want to make it count and get to victory lane. I've been so close so many times with a lot of top fives and seconds and laps led and stage wins and poles, but everything but the win. So hopefully we can get the win and finish that off.
How was your car in that practice session, Brad?
Decent. I thought the 45 looked phenomenal. He's about a second faster in the field right now, but outside of him, I felt like we were just hovering around that 8th to 10th.
8th to 10th right now for Brad Keselowski. This team will go to work on it, and always good to see Brad here in his home state of Michigan.
You know, whenever we come to Michigan International Speedway, you obviously think about the manufacturers over in Detroit. You think about Ford and Chevrolet. Obviously, you think a lot about Ford and their successes here through Roush Racing over the years. But I also think a lot about Brad Keselowski and the Keselowski family. Rochester Hills is a suburb of Detroit. Bob and all the Keselowskis, Brad been racing here, but he's never been able to win at this racetrack, and I know that's eating him up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You want to win at the track you grew up going to. That's just human nature. And to his point, he's been close so many times. Brad, 3-time second-place finisher here at Michigan in a NASCAR Cup Series machine. So to check this one off, and he said it before publicly, winning this would be bigger than winning the Daytona 500 to him. So that's how much it means to win here at Michigan. Everybody has a different perspective.
Yeah, I'm sure this is home track. I don't know, the Daytona 500 is a pretty big accomplishment, especially for Brad, who's a pretty darn good speedway racer. But you look at this, and even to the point, not only the Keselowski family here, but Roush Industries is up here.
Yes.
So for RFK, this is a big deal.
Let's go back to pit road and Steve Post.
Bubba Wallace out there in the first group. He's going to go out and do a qualifying lap here as he prepares to go out and qualify. And Bubba, what did you learn about your race car there in practice?
She's fast, a little bit on edge, but no, our Columbia Camry's good. We need a shot in the ass here. We've had a rough stretch for about a little over a month, and they brought me a piece. So excited to go out and qualify and see what we can do.
Charles, tonight we talked to him, and I talked about just the opportunity to qualify. It's been so long to get away from it. It's got to be rewarding just to get a chance to go do this.
1,000%. So excited to hopefully advance our position. I'm really pumped because the car feels good. It's a little edgy for me, but we'll get it out in.
Oh, if it's edgy for Bubba Wallace, it's a winner right there. That's Bubba Wallace. He'll be out in this first group.
He talks about the last month in the NASCAR Cup Series. He finished 9th at Texas Motor Speedway. However,
That said, we used to
29th at Watkins.
About being aggressive on the throttle. Now there's no denying the data tells all. Marty?
Let's chat with Brad Keselowski, trying to become the first Michigan-born driver, as you mentioned, Adam, to win here at MIS. So how much does the game change, Brad? Because we, have always Cup Series always qualified about 11 a.m. here at Michigan. Now it's like 6 p.m. How's that going to change it for you behind the wheel?
Good question. I don't know. I think, Marty, that we guys go at the very end as the sun continues to go down. We'll probably have a little bit better track, but it's really hard to tell. I mean, what I will say, though, is I expect most of the cars to be wide open today, so completely different than what we'll have tomorrow. Tomorrow will be all about, middle of the sun, how fast your car is in traffic, all those things. Today, just trim and see what you got.
So a totally different game today in qualifying than it will be in the race tomorrow, Adam.
No doubt. Talked to Brad earlier today about Michigan and, what this track means to him. And he talked about how close he's been here so many times and the frustration of not being able to get over the top. See what he's got for him. One of the first handful of cars out in qualifying. First to roll, 44, J.J. Yaley.
JJ creeping up on that 400th start in the Cup Series, 398th tomorrow. Got a pole here way back in 2007, his only career pole in the Cup Series.
Saw on the graphic 20th Michigan start. He's been doing it a long time at every level. JJ, been a fun one to watch for many, many years.
This kind of goes back to Daytona, Talladega. The launch off of pit road is going to be just as important as the lap itself, trying to accelerate and get your car up to speed off of pit road. Try to make that get up to speed lap coming to the green as long as possible to give your car all the opportunity to build speed. You want to be running faster than anyone else when you get to the start finish line, taking the green.
38.91 in practice for Yaley. Picks it up to 38.57 here in qualifying.
You see cars run low down the front straightaway, cutting feet off of the lap. You're trying to make the lap as short as possible as well. So you don't want to run up the racetrack unnecessarily, adding length to the overall distance of the lap. And the only problem is there's a couple bumps down low on the front straightaway. One right at the start finish line, pretty violent. Those aren't those bumps aren't there in the top groove up against the wall. See a little bit out of the gas there.
Yeah.
We're gonna see the telemetry. You see the bottom left hand corner of the screen. We're gonna show that telemetry throughout the qualifying of all of the cars and see who can hold it wide open.
He's gonna wish he had that exit of 2 back, because it's one thing to breathe it in the middle of the corner to make sure you stay low enough, but when you have to get back out of the throttle there at the 3/4 mark, that really hurts your back straightaway speed. This is going to be a 37.7. He is not going to love that.
Yeah, he ran a 7 in practice, so hope to pick up a little bit of speed when you go out there to run that qualifying lap. What you got with Larson, Kim?
Yeah, 3-time Michigan winner Larson. Kyle, complete this statement for me. Qualifying at Michigan is?
I don't really know yet until I see some of these good guys go with in their SMT, how much throttle they can carry. But if they're wide open, it brings your nerves down. Like you feel like a little bit. When it's like on the edge of wide open, I think that's when it can feel nerve-wracking. So we'll see here. I would assume the grip will just get better as each kind of car goes. My HendrickCars.com Chevy actually felt really good in practice. I feel like we're really close on balance. So just kind of dial it in here and hopefully qualify well, and you have a good race tomorrow.
Ross Chastain on track, 6 quick in practice earlier in the green. Going to jump just in front of his teammate. P1 37.69 for Chastain.
He ran really shallow off of turn 4 right to the apron. Car bottoms out across the bumps on the apron of the racetrack.
48 is Alex Bowman, first of the 4 cars from Hendrick Motorsports to make a qualifying run. Had that hard crash here a year ago.
This hasn't been a great track for Alex. He had a top 10 finish here in 2022, but finished 27th, the worst in the last 3 events at Michigan. Trending well here though, 2/10 up on Chastain off into turn 3.
Yeah, I expect to see, some low 37s, if not something in the 36s.
Bowman was 33rd in practice, 38.27. Back to the line here. Put him P1, 37.56.
He didn't have a great turn 3 and 4. He lost a little bit of speed. We saw him 2/10 up going into turn 3 and lost about 1/10 of that. Finished the lap out. Here's Josh Berry in the 21 with the Wood brothers. Didn't have a lot of speed in practice. This team has struggled over the last several races. Swept up in a lot of crashes. Just having abysmal results comparable to last year when they had a lot of speed in this car. So he's just not comfortable to stay in the throttle, but still trending in a decent direction.
I just love seeing that 21 car in Michigan. So much success over the years for the Wood brothers at this place.
Oh, way up the racetrack. It's going to spin out here.
There goes, gets away from Barry. You said it, he was trending in the right direction, but can't hang on to it as he comes off of turn 4.
That's been basically the whole year for this guy. AJ's on the racetrack. He's going to have to come to pit road. Josh is going to park the car and try to get lifted off the ground. The car got really loose right there, and he corrects it up the racetrack and way out of the groove into the dirt. Spins the car out. Had a decent lap going, but that's been the year for this 21 car and Josh Berry. Issue after issue after issue, mistake, poor runs, no speed, pushing hard, trying to, find something, trying to get a result, and often it results in something like this.
It's hard. It's easy to say, hard to do. You almost just want him to just drive it for as fast as it would go and no more, and not compound it. But he's a race car driver. He's trying to get the best. He doesn't want to be the weak link. He knows this car needs to run better. They're going to air this car up as well. You see right here on the left-hand side, right? This guy with the bottle, he's going to plug in, and when he does, watch the back of this car. So he's going to plug in, then turn the valve open. This thing's going to be straight up in the air. There he goes.
For some reason, it's not working.
Or it didn't go far enough. With 2 rear flats, sometimes it isn't enough. This thing's going to be a bumpy ride in.
Curious as to what they'll do. He's past the entrance to pit road, and
let's go, and you referenced, Dale, the fact that AJ, next car in line, getting up to speed. Well, that's tough on them,
So normally I would say yes, but you got to remember, it was the second lap on tires that was fastest earlier. So I'm not sure if a little bit of temperature in the tire isn't better in this situation.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah, it kind of knocks the shell off of the tire.
Yeah, you have no choice but to qualify stickers. So he kind of had, now, he didn't get to run a corner, but I guess he ran maybe turn 2, probably a little bit of speed. This 21, him, like many cars after had flat tires in practice, are going to be inspecting the bottom of this car to see what they have going on, what they have to change.
What's going on, Marty?
Adam, while we have a second, let's check in with Todd Gillen. Boy, we heard that radio transmission after lap 1 of practice for you. Did it get any better as you guys made several changes to the car?
It might have got it slightly better, but not where we want to be yet. So, it's always makes for a very, very challenging Saturday, and honestly, Saturday night into Sunday. When you unload like that. But this team is fighters, and we won't give up. That's for sure. So, it's really cool to have MTS on board, and in partnership with Loves, it's always cool to have them up here at Michigan. Ford's been fast here, we'll hopefully made some good changes here. Go forward a few spots, and just keep working on all weekend.
Todd will go out here in qualifying in just a moment, Adam, as we're back to qualifying. Car rolls from the front of the grid.
Next up, Brian Preece in the 60. Top 10 run here a year ago. Going to the Coke 600, Preece had finished on the lead lap in every race, and then we showed up and he's had 2 straight DNFs. He's gonna ask us to exit stage left. We've not brought him any luck. Steve, you and I talked to him at Nashville, and when I saw him in the garage this morning, I walked the other way. I'm like, You're not gonna pin this on me.
It's a little on and off the gas at 3 and 4 coming to the green. We'll see if that confidence increases down here at 1 and 2. Just can't stay committed. The car doesn't track the corner like he needs it to.
Bowman didn't have a great 3 and 4, so it's possible he might be able to gain back. Gave up the entry, but here through the middle of the corner, starts gaining on Bowman. Bowman didn't get off of turn 4 very good, so Preece does a good job there. It's going to beat him to the finish line.
Real nice comeback on the lap for Preece. Top of the board. You said it, Dale. Rallies in the corner, 37.55 to a 37.56 from Bowman.
16 will slot back in line after the 23. They give the team, you mentioned he was on the track, give the team a check everything over, check the tire pressures. So we'll see how that car runs. Now the RFK4, Brad Keselowski here already comes to the line better than his teammate in Priest. 50% throttle, but right back to it on exit, is able to commit. That should pay dividends down the backstretch. It is if you look at the tracker.
If he can pick up like his teammate did in 3 and 4, this is going to be a nice little lap for BK.
Nice arc into 3. Nice. Off the gas, right back to it. Just a really good, clean lap. Veteran Brad Keselowski getting it done there.
26th in practice, but he leads right now in qualifying. 37-47 for Brad Keselowski.
37-47. Best so far. We'll see where we want here.
Yeah, I don't really know where, to your point, Steve, I think we may see some 36s, but that would have been 3rd overall in practice.
Austin Hill out in the 33. First of the 2 Chevys from RCR to make a qualifying run.
This is a good opportunity for Austin because he doesn't have to run the O'Reilly car this weekend.
Right.
You just focus all week and all weekend on one thing, going back and forth between 2 vehicles that are so vastly different. Such a huge challenge for anybody. Austin can really focus just solely on Cup this weekend. Try to get everything he can out of this opportunity in the 33.
Lost a little time there in 3 and 4.
Sure did. They mentioned this weekend. Richard Childress said that the plan going forward was to have Austin in this car, so it's a long runway for him to try to learn what he can. But I talked to Justin Allgaier when he was splitting duty between the 48 and the O'Reilly car, and he said it was a very challenging thing to do week in and week out.
This will be a very good test of what potential the track has. 198 into turn 1, a little bit chop at the gas, but you see even with the lift of the gas, the tracker is still continuing to trend, and that's what we talk about when we come to potential. Like his throttle trace was better, but it wasn't so unbelievable that you thought he'd be 0.2 of a second faster, but he is easily. This end of the racetrack, I expect him to be wide open.
Wow.
Yeah, not a thought of moving the throttle.
Better. 0.2, give me 0.3 to the good. What a lap for Bubba Wallace.
And I'm going to tell you, this right here is going to let Brad and Priest and Bowman and all those guys know that it is not going to be good. We are going to fill in a lot of cars between that 47 and that 13 on the timing chart.
37-13. And Bubba Wallace now leads.
Yeah, Bubba's running 66 in practice, so that's a half a second pickup for the 23. AJ finally out there to be able to run his lap. Had a great car last weekend at Nashville before they had brake issues. Good speed. Compliment this team. All the time colleague, doing a lot with very little in terms of resources. They don't have a ton of teammates out there, only 2 cars in this operation.
AJ's had success in Michigan on Saturday. Got an O'Reilly victory here, 2021.
If he'd have gone where he was supposed to go in the order, we'd be talking about how amazing this lap is, because it will be second quick.
He would have been P1 at the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Bubba Wallace got his turn. AJ second behind the 23. Priest, Hill, and Bowman up there, as well as Keselowski.
AJ Allmendinger, and he will accept that checkered flag. He will go to the second position. 192.220 miles an hour. That's 37.457 seconds. The impressive thing about what AJ Allmendinger and Colleague Racing have been doing, they had 0 manufacturing support. When they broke off from Richard Childress Racing and Chevrolet last year, they're obviously developing the Ram program. They are not associated with any type of manufacturer on the Cup program, but they have actually put their nose to the grindstone, and they've been having some successes for a team that's a single car team and not associated with an OEM.
Yeah, you're right about that. As Colleague Racing with AJ Allmendinger, Ty Dillon aboard over there as well. Fantastic effort that they've been able to put together. Ty Dillon had a great run at Nashville last week. Back to Jason Toy.
Kyle Larson walks along here as he gets ready to jump behind his Chevrolet and get out to qualifying. 25 minutes, not a lot of time. Did you get some things figured out on this race car?
Yeah, I mean, I think my car felt really close, so I was happy about how our practice went, and hopefully we can just dial it in just a little bit overnight and have a good race tomorrow. But it starts the qualifying here, so hopefully we can have some commitment and lay down a good lap.
We're starting to see the shadows get a lot longer here, and that meaning they're starting to cover up the track even more. Is that going to help this track get a little more speed out of it?
I don't know. I would assume, yeah, it'll probably speed some things up. Wish we would have had a better end of the race in Nashville to go out a little later, but we'll try to make the most of it here.
All right, there you go. Kyle Larson getting ready to jump behind the wheel of his HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. Steve Post?
Yeah, Kyle's a 3-time winner here. Joey Logano, a 3-time winner here at Michigan. So, Joey, how are things on the Auto Trader? Yeah, Auto Trader Ford. How are things?
Auto Trader Mustangs. It looks pretty good today, and I think the balance of it was pretty good in race trim there. It needed a little bit of speed, but the balance was pretty close. So just fine-tuning from here, and we'll see what qualifying brings us. It seems like everyone is very, very close to wide open. It looked like Bubba just held it wide open down the other end. So it'll be a hairy lap, to say the least.
No doubt about it. How has this track evolved year after year? What have we learned about it, at least so far today? Maybe even with the truck race, what have we learned about the evolution and aging of this racetrack?
It hasn't changed much. You know, you would think that harsh winters up here and more bumps would be showing up, but they paved this place. They did a good job. I mean, it still doesn't wear tires out that much. The bumps are minimal. Besides the French straightaway, here's a couple big ones, but it's a pretty smooth track still.
Pretty smooth track.
Cody got a 22nd place finish last week at Nashville. Best non-drafting track finish since Las Vegas of 2024. Good looking race car.
Really good looking race car.
Yeah.
And easy to spot on track.
A lot out of the gas right there. Way too much off throttle. You can see how much it's costing him. Oh boy. Whoa. He was way too shallow into the bottom of 1 and 2, and that's why he had to use so much racetrack on corner exit out to turn 2. Sometimes you'll go off in the corner and the car's going to go where it goes. It probably turned a little bit better into the corner than he expected. He ended up way offline for the corner exit.
37.71, 8th for Cody Ware. Kim?
And Zane Smith looking for his 3rd straight top 10 finish. And this is a place you could do it, a pair of 7th place finishes here in your 2 Cup starts. So how strong was your car in practice?
Yeah, our Aaron's Ford Mustang drove actually pretty good all throughout practice, but just wish it posted a little bit better of a lap time. But, a lot of us are just playing a downforce trade-off, right? And so I feel like you'll see some of that in qualifying and then see maybe something different tomorrow. But all in all, again, happy with my car and just proud of my team for bringing 2 really good cars the past couple of weeks, and I feel like we brought another good one this week. So always love coming here to Michigan, and got my first truck win here, so it'd be awesome to get my first Cup win as well.
Downforce trade-off, and what he means by that is they could make the car faster at wide open throttle, but they want to have that downforce when they get back in traffic to be able to stay in the throttle. Nemechek posts the 2nd fastest time. The disheartening or the challenging thing is going to be when a car can both qualify well and race well. I've been on both sides of that argument. Like, we're going to race really good. Trust me, we got some downforce in this thing.
Zane, a Truck Series champion, referenced that he got his first career truck win here at Michigan. We offer our congratulations to Corey Hine, who got it done earlier today. Craftsman Truck Series racing this afternoon at MIS. Here's Cole Custer in the 41.
He overdrove the entry a little bit, tried to commit. You send it down in there hoping it's going to stick, and he's still got a really nice lap going here. Even with that exit of 2, just not quite what he wanted.
This car looks like it has a lot of straight line speed, because I didn't think it had a great corner exit, and it didn't bleed any more time down the backstretch. Watch again on the front stretch. See, once this car gets in a straight line, it's losing a little, but nowhere near as bad as you thought it would have versus the middle of the corner speed. So that would be that downforce versus straight line trade-off.
Really
Great lap.
nice effort.
Yeah, they're overachieving. It's kind of the remnants of Stewart-Haas Racing, and they're piecing it together on basically a one-car team out there competing against a lot of teams with a lot more resources and information, and doing a great job.
Said Stewart-Haas. Say Stewart-Haas in Michigan. I think about that run that Harvick got on here.
Yeah.
But he and Boyer, right? You came here, you knew those were the cars that you were going to have to beat. All green for William Byron coming off the corner.
He was great in practice. really good speed. This is a solid lap, almost a full tenth up on Wallace down into turn 3. Can he continue? Yes, sir, full throttle. Continuing to add to the lap time. What a good driving race car. I think he's gonna be real pleased with this.
Good on the long haul in practice, good in qualifying. P1 William Byron, 37.038. And you quoted Trevor Bayne there when you said, yes, sir, when he came through turns 3 and 4.
Rubbing off on us. Bubba and William were 7th and 8th in practice, respectively. And with a 66 and a 68. Here's the 2 of Cindric. He had a flat tire in practice, so it'd be interesting to see. They wonder whether they got the bottom of that car cleaned up. Did he have any damage to the bottom of the car? Starting to show there's not a very good lap here. Already 3/10 off, losing a lot of speed down the back straightaway, Steve.
Yeah, and I don't believe he's going to be able to stop it. I mean, look, he's out of the throttle, less than half throttle, a lot of time at part throttle, not even a quick lift.
I think that telemetry just a little off right there.
Yeah,
full throttle
definitely
here.
Wide open.
Yeah. But he was not comfortable, and you see the lap time almost 3/4 of a second slower.
10th for Cindric, who comes in on the chase bubble, jumped back above that cut line last week at Nashville.
Yeah, 17 at Busher now on track, a track he loves. Top 10 the last 3 times here. We'll see from RFK. His teammates are currently 6th and 7th. We always talk about how these 3 cars always match on pace. During the race, they seem to always run together, finish together. I think he's going to outrun his 2 teammates at the moment, though. They ran a 47 and a 55, respectively. I think this car is going to be more down in the 20s.
He's got some work to do down here in turn 3 and 4. He was top 5 on the charts in practice.
A little over a 10th off of what Byron put up. 10th and a half as he comes back to the line. 3rd for Busher, 37.18. Todd Gilliland fought the car in practice. Here's the 34 to make his qualifying run.
Well, he's not going to love the lap, but I will say after the start of practice that was multiple seconds off and not being able to finish the lap, this might be a little bit of a relief that the car is a little bit more drivable, a little bit more predictable. They're not going to love the speed at all, but it was a long ways off to start practice.
15th for Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, just the work's going to have to continue overnight. Hopefully they've learned something from even this one lap, that maybe they can continue to make changes, give Todd something a little bit more drivable. We'll see if this is an organizational thing. Right here's his teammate, the 4 of Noah Gragson. We already heard from Zane Smith, who seemed to be relatively pleased with this car, kind of reading through the lines on the... This is another car, you mentioned the throttle, like... I know
all the Fords.
Yeah, something about just the calibration. I'm confident that they're pushing the pedal all the way down.
Yeah. Noah had a 16th place finish last week, his best non-drafting finish of the season. They've had a struggle this year trying to get speed out of this car. His teammates starting to run better. Maybe you'll start to see the results improve on this 4 car as they get some of that information about what's working with Zane Smith and Todd.
Saw Noah in the garage, very positive, always upbeat, fun to be around. Qualifying lap is complete. He is 6th.
I think he'll be happy with that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Another driver from Las Vegas here. Number 35, Riley Herbst. 17th last week at Nashville, despite the fact they had that penalty on that last pit stop. You know, you go back, they were one of those drivers that were a little bit in a better position on fuel. We thought maybe they could make some noise with Zane and Ryan Blaney. Ultimately, they had to make a pit stop. When they did, they got a penalty, but despite that, still finished inside the top 20.
Solid lap right here. The Herbst down into turn 3. He's a half a tenth.
Chasing William Byron, his teammate Bubba Wallace second on the board. Riley Herbst back to the line. Really solid lap for him. P2, 37-12. On the way, Carson Hocevar. We'll see what the Michigan native can do in qualifying.
Down to the line right now, his 2311 Racing Toyota. Riley Herbst, a pretty good lap. He'll go to second best for Riley Herbst. So it's William Byron, Riley Herbst, Bubba Wallace, Chris Buescher, and Cole Custer currently the top 5 for Michigan International Speedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-212-2828. 800-212-2828. That's 800-212-2828.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
You're tuned in to the NASCAR Cup Series on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
We welcome you back to Michigan International Speedway. Qualifying for tomorrow's Firekeepers Casino 400 is underway. Let's get you back pit lane right now. Steve Post.
One of the stories over the last couple of weeks is Shane Van Gisbergen and his run on the oval tracks at Charlotte and in Nashville. So, Shane, as you work to continue to improve on the ovals, how'd you find things here today in Michigan?
Yeah, hello. Bit of a struggle, so hopefully it gets a little better for tomorrow. But, yeah, try and qualify now. It looks like it's almost flat the whole way, so should be pretty on edge.
What's it mean to you to see progress? You've worked so hard at ovals. What's it mean to see progress for you?
Yeah, thanks. It's just hard work. Everyone on the team's been really helpful, and it's just steady progression, I guess, and hopefully we just keep it rolling.
Another chapter in that steady progression is tomorrow. That's Shane Van Gisbergen here at Michigan, ready to go out and qualify here in just a little bit.
SVG getting queued up and ready to go. Next up will be Austin Dillon. We've also got Ty Dillon rolling onto the racetrack soon. He'll be followed in part by Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, Joey Logano, Eric Jones, and others. Back to pit road and Jason Toy.
Denny Hamlin's going to be the last one to go out here today and sits down here looking over telemetry and checking things out on the phone, talking things over with the crew. All right, Denny. What are the...
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Steve Letarte, I'm Adam Alexander, Marty Snyder, Kim Kuhn handling things on the pit lane. Here's the 3 of Austin Dillon. Going to be the Dillon brothers back-to-back. Ty waiting on deck as Austin goes.
So in this car, definitely hasn't fit Austin here at Michigan as well as probably some of the old cars that we had run here, although this lap not awful.
And you know what I noticed about that car is he held pretty flat to the 24 through the corner. As single car runs. Marty.
The chat with Ryan Blaney. And let's talk about how this practice session, how'd it go for you guys? And did the tire issues in this afternoon session catch you guys off guard a little bit, maybe?
2 or 3 failures the last couple years, just, you know, low air pressure, trying to run the car super low, and this track's fairly smooth. Honestly, the roughest parts of this place are on the straightaway. With no load to kind of pick up on the left side. So we saw some left rears in practice. We had a left front actually go down here last year in practice. Fortunately, all the tire failures in practice and our car last year was on the straightaway, and no one junked the race car. So the 2 had a problem, and fortunately they were to save a race car. But we were okay in practice. We made a couple changes, and I felt like we got the balance a little bit closer our second and third run out. So we'll see.
hopefully we can commit here in qualifying and have good grip and try to run wide open. Seems like if you're going to be on the pole, you need to run close to wide open, if not wide open. So we'll see. But I appreciate Menards being back on board. Ford Racing, it's obviously a big weekend being in Ford's backyard, trying to get them the Heritage Trophy back at HQ, and we'll see where it goes.
All right, we'll see what Ryan Blaney can do. Kyle Larson on the track, Adam.
Yeah, and his teammates got the fastest lap of the session. William Byron, 37.038, but a lot of green here for driver 5 coming down the back straightaway.
Yeah, if they go wide open through turns 3 and 4, see a little bit of break right there on entry. Just maybe set the car and get it a little more comfortable, but he's able to run through there wide open and gain even more speed. Good momentum down the front straightaway. Almost a full tenth better than the 24.
First driver to go in the 36-second bracket, 36.96 for Kyle Larson, and he now leads in qualifying at Michigan.
The track should get a little quicker. A lot of cars left to go to be able to challenge that lap from Larson. Daniel Suarez on the racetrack. He's had a couple of good weeks. This number 7 car for Spire.
Yeah, the month of May looked nicely on the 7, a 6th at Texas, 13th at the Glen. He won back at the 600 and 19th at Nashville.
With a stage win last week.
Yeah.
And coming to a place that he loves because first ever O'Reilly win came at his championship season here, 2016.
Shortens up that exit of 4. Down the front straightaway low. Only a 10th and a half off of Larson. Not a terrible lap at all. 3rd place overall.
It's funny how quickly expectations slide. Because last year, I think we'd have been like, oh, that's a good run for Spire. You know, right there, 3rd quick.
Yeah.
Now they got a couple wins, one being the 600, and we're like, yeah, it's a good lap. That's a good lap. It's a good, you know, it just kind of clicks down a little bit. McDowell, he's the one of the, you know, the 3rd Spire car that's yet to go to victory lane, and he's been close with the road courses, almost won Texas last year, so it's not going to shock me if the 71 could pull it off this year, but had to chop the gas on corner exit. That kind of threw that lap away.
Yeah, he went down in there, and he went to the throttle, and he's like, nope, back off the gas, back on the gas again, so 2 tenths down on the back straightaway.
It's good to see Garner Trucking on this car. We talk a lot about Spire and how they've grown. Well, this is a partner that was on Spire back when they were in the old shop, only 2 cars. It's awesome to see the company, you know, exceed expectations, and I love when they bring those partners that were there at the kind of the beginning, you know, along this ride with them.
9th on the board for McDowell. Here's Joey Logano. 3-time winner.
Yeah, 3 times he's done it here. 590 laps led. I mean, everything about this team screams Michigan, raw speed, great strategy. That's always been the strength of this 22. Maybe this is going to be the jumping off point for their season. Get it, I won't say turned around. I think that's a little rude, but definitely just more Logano-esque, if that makes sense. He's 18th currently in the points. We would expect higher. I don't think they're going to hate this lap if he can kind of stop the bleeding down here.
Yeah, he was 15th overall in practice. A little bit too much off throttle down there, 1 and 2, but full throttle here through 3 and 4. Just missing a little bit. Give him what he needs to be able to run the lap he needs in 1 and 2.
Cendric, his teammate, is 19th. Logano now 9th on the board.
And just stacked in. What do we have? We got 4 cars in the teens. We got another 4 or 5 cars in the 20s. And when you see that gap from an 03 to a 90 up front, you expect that to fill in.
Eric Jones, the next car. Got to fire it up.
We'd expect to have the car already on the racetrack. You know, it's kind of a car goes by at speed, the next car goes out. So if you have any sort of issue either cranking or, you know, NASCAR only gets about a 5 or 10 second window, then they have to hold you to let the car finish their lap.
Eric had a great run last week at Nashville, ran more laps in the top 10 than in the first 13 races combined this year.
You just think about the top 15s in recent weeks. You put on top of that what he's been able to do in the All-Star race, coming home. I mean, across the board, there's a lot of energy, momentum right now.
Well, that's the question. Like the All-Star race, they was way above kind of where they've been fighting at. And then they took that momentum in Nashville. Those, though, were the same rules. I want to see now that we're at a high downforce track, and here it is, trending in the green, wide open, just a tap of the brake. I kind of love what he did right there. He stayed wide open. It was just a brake tap. This is a good lap.
You can see how nervous he is, though, with how quick they moved the steering wheel off into turn one. You can tell he's like, oh, I'm ready for it. Oh, he's correcting it, chasing the back a little bit. Didn't lift, just lost a little bit of speed, but still an amazing lap.
And when you look at where the Toyotas are, best of the bunch right now, Herbst in fourth. Here's Jones back to the line in third, 37.090.
And tip of the hat to Legacy. You know, we talk a lot about organizations and how they work. Well, Legacy has decided way long ago, when Jimmy Johnson became a part of it, that they were going to build their own tools, not get the information through Joe Gibbs. They still are full Toyota support, but not through Joe Gibbs Racing, much like 2311. I only say that because the learning curve is steep at times, so a great run to be third. We heard from Zane Smith, said he liked his car. We'll see how it qualifies here.
Best qualifier right now for front row, Noah Gregson, 13th on the board. Saying a 10th and a half off going to turn 3.
It's going to be the best of the front row bunch.
9th for Zane Smith. 10 to go in qualifying.
A little bit of work to do for tomorrow, but it's been fun over the last couple of weeks seeing Zane run well with this car, present himself with opportunities to try to steal some wins or come out of here with some great results.
Great track for Ty Gibbs, won here in O'Reilly and has been outstanding at the Cup level. Really his best track when you talk about average finish. Couple of third place runs here in flashing green to begin his lap in qualifying.
Would not shock me at all at the end of the day tomorrow if Ty Gibbs is the guy standing in victory lane for the second time in his career.
Solid 1 and 2, staying pretty flat with Larson down the back straightaway. Looks like the drag in both these cars is identical down the back straightaway.
First Toyota from Joe Gibbs Racing out in qualifying. And a heater for Ty Gibbs, chasing Kyle Larson. 54 to the top, 36.95.
36.95, P1 right now. Good
Ty
job.
Gibbs is the one everyone is chasing in qualifying. Some heavy hitters on the way when we continue from Michigan.
(194.842 miles per hour, 36.953 seconds, and Ty Gibbs goes to the provisional pole. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network. Motor Racing Network live at Michigan International Speedway, NASCAR Cup Series pole qualifying for the Firekeepers Casino. I'm Alex Hayden along with Mike Bagley and Todd Gordon in the broadcast booth. We've got Steve Post and Jason Toy in the pit lane, and Jason, I believe, is caught up with Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, Tyler's taking a walk down to get jumping his car here. And Tyler, you watch all these drivers continue to knock more and more speed out of these race cars, some of your teammates up there as well. So what does that give you as you get ready to jump behind the wheel of this car?
Yeah, a lot of confidence for us in our Rockstar Energy Toyota Camry. We were obviously really good in practice and had a lot of speed there too. So, yeah, just looking to see how fast we can go with our 2311 number 45, and hopefully we can put on pole.
All right, he's going to grip it and rip it. Tyler Reddick getting ready to qualify.
Indeed, and Tyler Reddick had a lot of speed in practice earlier. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty here in qualifying for the NASCAR Cup Series. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is set to go. He also will be followed by Carson Hocevar. SVG, that's Shane Van Gisbergen, Blaney, Briscoe, Elliott, Reddick, Bell, and Hamlin. And then we will know who will be leading us to green tomorrow in the Firekeepers Casino 400.
So as we wait for the next car to pull out onto the racetrack, Todd, we've had a great day of racing already with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Corey Heim was able to pick up the win there. The ARCA Menard Series ran here yesterday. Gio Ruggiero with the win. As usual, this track is racy yet again.
Yeah, it sure puts on some spectacular racing. We got a doozy of a race today, just all over every lap. Seemed like there were opportunities for guys just drafting around each other. I look for tomorrow to be just as exciting as we to bring this forward. I can't wait to see whether the Cup cars, typically the trucks can't make a racetrack as wide as the Cup cars can. From what we saw in the truck race today, I'm anxious to see what these Cup cars can bring tomorrow.
Well, we know there's at least 3 lanes. We saw that in practice earlier today. Corey Heim gave us a 4th lane before he won the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race earlier today. The question is, where will the Cup cars go? We hear that the fast lane is about 1.5 lanes off the bottom of the racetrack. However, we've seen cars fast on the bottom. We've seen them swinging around the
outside. Here's Ricky Stenhouse Jr., fresh off a top 5 at Nashville on Sunday.
Yeah, he did a heck of a job stealing that top 5 late, got those tires, drove through the field on those final restarts.
Ran the truck race earlier today, got some laps under his belt.
On throttle, not able to really get back full throttle as early as he wanted to. It's not going to be a great lap.
Talk so much about the contract extension with Hayek. Found a good home, been a good marriage. He and crew chief Mike Kelly. And here's Stenhouse coming back to the line.
Did a reasonable job down there in 3 and 4. Everybody seems to run 3 and 4 wide open. 1 and 2 seems to be the hard part, right? How much throttle can you carry through turns 1 and 2? If you can be close to wide open in 1 and 2, you got a really good shot. Hocevar running a really high line through turns 3 and 4, trying to build up speed. Let's see if he carries that speed down the front straightaway into turn 1.
And for Stenhouse, that was 16th.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an awful lap right there, kind of mid-pack. The high line worked, and Dale trending in the green. He's going to stay there.
Yeah, got him a couple thousandths down the front straightaway and continue to build on that.
Teammate Suarez, 5th on the board. Plenty of speed in these Chevys from Team Spire.
A little bit of drag on this car down the back straightaway. You see him losing a little bit of time at the end of the straightaway.
It's minimal though, right? Yeah. He's able to level it off, get it back coming off the corner. What a lap for Carson Hocevar, and what a pole would mean for him here. 77, best of the bunch so far, 36.91, and the crowd absolutely loves it.
10th on the board in practice, so he had the speed. Not a shock to see them go out there and put a good lap down, but I'm really impressed with that, Steve. I don't think I saw that coming.
I did. I really did. We've heard so much about the Toyotas, and now here we are. We have 4 Chevrolets in the top 6. We'll see if SVG in a Chevy can kind of get himself up inside that top 15, top 20. His oval track, his running has just impressed me more and more and more. Charlotte, he drove off the front of the field. Last week at Nashville, he had track position. He drove off the front of the field. He is getting more and more comfortable with.
Know how good he is on road courses. A winner at Watkins Glen has got himself above that chase cutoff line and looking for more, with 2 more road courses to come later this month. Well, this qualifying effort's 24.
Sorry, I'm not going to say the 2 road courses I thought with this path, but as well as he's running at the ovals, I think he is chase bound. I would be shocked if this car gets knocked out of the chase between now and the end of the summer.
And Stephen Doran, his crew chief, is really doing a good job of managing that team, creating expectations. 6 to go in qualifying. The first of those, Ryan Blaney in the 12.
Wow, 200 by himself. We have not seen that top speed out of a lot of cars.
Oh, he's going to need to get back to the gas. He's not able to do it.
Straight line speed, thumbs up. Corner speed, thumbs down for the 12.
Best board in qualifying, Chris Buescher in 9th right now, put up a 37.18. Here's Ryan Blaney.
He'll be disappointed with that.
At 14th.
Right next to his teammate Logano.
5 to go in qualifying.
And an interesting 5, because we had Bell have a flat tire, we said the 11 have a flat tire, so we don't know how much potential are left in these cars. Briscoe, Elliott, and Reddick, all 3 of those, to my knowledge, were clean in practice.
Briscoe was on the pole here a year ago.
You see that again at the end of the front straightaway. The Toyota versus Hocevar seems to have a little less drag. Hocevar run this lap time with a tick more downforce built into the race car, which I think is a great sign for him tomorrow. You see how they're closing the gap on him at the end of the straightaway?
Downforce or power band or combination could just be the power curve, not more or less, but where the power is made. You know, maybe is it Chevrolet more at the bottom, Toyota more at the top? Unless you looked at the power curves, you just wouldn't know. Third for Briscoe.
Not going to be 2 poles in a row, but really good effort for Briscoe. 3/1000ths behind his teammate Ty Gibbs, who's second. And the first of our last 4, Chase Elliott in the 9.
And if you're Scotty Maxim, who runs the Hendrick Motorsports engine department, you currently have the fastest time with Hocevar. You would really love Chase to get up there and take the front row, 4-team Chevy.
Last Chevy, then it's 3 Toyotas to end it in qualifying. Pretty good lap going here for Chase Elliott.
Yeah, quiet hands, a little correction, but really quiet hands for driver of the 9.
A lot of throttle too through turns 1 and 2. And he too, like the Toyotas, beats that 77 at the end of the back straightaway. Same engine package, Steve, between these 2 cars. I like that out of Hocevar. Running the lap time with built-in downforce, potentially. I'm assuming that. I think that bodes well for the race trim tomorrow.
Chasing a 36.91. Elliott puts up a 36.95. He is 4th with 3 to go.
Top 5 stacked in 5/100ths from 1st to 5th. So you talk about stick your hand out the window at 200 miles an hour. That's 5/100ths of a second. It's not going to take long. Let's see. Reddick, in my mind, was the standout in race speed. Does it transfer to single car?
Yeah, I'll be really surprised if this guy right here doesn't knock the pole down. Car was incredible in practice. Not trending in the right direction. I know it's only a couple thousandths there, but gains a little bit of it back here down the back straightaway.
Impressive run down the back straightaway.
He's going to need all of it. I think he gets it. He's going to gain a little bit here off of the front straightaway to the line. Is it long enough?
Margin for error so slim. Going to be close. Reddick second.
Man,
missed it by 100th of a second. Incredible.
He would have gotten the pole if the flag stand was at the end of the straightaway.
We're not at Talladega, Dale. 2 to go, both from Joe Gibbs Racing. First, Christopher Bell.
Bell, flat tire, really drug that left front splitter. He had a left front flat. I'm not sure how much it hurts the car. I do think they're going to have to make repairs, so this perhaps is only a lap for the starting position. So far, I'd be arguing that the car's fine. Let's not make any changes as we're in the green.
Yeah. You'll take all you can get, but it would break your heart if you're P1 knowing I'm going to the rear and I'm only running for my pit stall selection.
Look at the nerves. I see a little nerves out of Carson. This is a guy that doesn't show a whole lot of nerves, but a little bit of bouncing on his toes there.
We know how competitive he is, emotional kid. Lays it all out there, and he'll stay P1 as Bell goes 7th. 1 to go, and it's last week's winner, Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, not the car you want to see last on track. Another car that had a flat tire, not sure if that'll hurt. Really high, 3 and 4. You like that with Hocevar. We'll see if that also helps the 11 come to the line.
Denny got that information, no doubt, if he didn't even see it on the SMT before he goes out and run his lap. Trying to match what Hocevar did. So see what Denny does with the throttle down here in the turn. What commitment. Had a flat tire, drug the bottom off this car, didn't know if he's got all the downforce that he had when he unloaded. He's going to be even, if not to the good, at the end of the straightaway, off into turn 3.
Lots of green. Some money in the bank coming off of turn 4 for Hamlin.
Oh, what a heartbreaker for Carson. The last car is going to put the lap together. Denny Hamlin.
The old veteran, P1, picking up where he left off last year. And he breaks Hocevar's heart. 36.90 for Hamlin. That's career pole number 50.
And how about the emotion out of Hocevar? I love that he wears it. You saw how much what a pole was going to mean to this young man. He's a great driver to cheer for. And Denny Hamlin just keeps getting it done. Kim, driver of the 77.
I know, disappointed you didn't get the pole at your home racetrack, but you'll start from the front row, so what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a testament to these guys. They do a really good job, and they're building fast race cars. Yeah, I would have loved to have that there, but yeah, I mean, third in the truck race, second in Cup qualifying, so hopefully that's just a trend there, but I would have loved to have that one.
Good fire-off speed. What does it have, though, for 400 miles tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a really good race car. It's one of the best I've had here, I felt like, so I hope it really translates to tomorrow. But yeah, I feel really good about a race car, and so starting up front is going to be super important. So, I mean, I know it's just qualifying, but damn, I didn't know I wanted it.
It's okay to be disappointed.
I know I wanted it this much here, but speed's a lot for, you know, so many reasons.
Last week, Denny Hamlin started on the pole, right, when qualifying was rained out. Today, he does it conventional, goes out and breaks the heart of Carson Hocevar. I just love the mentality of that kid.
You got to also remember, Denny had the flat in practice.
Right.
You know, and he's drug off some of the, he doesn't have, you know, assurance that this car is all good underneath. They inspected it, looked at it, and he went out there and admired the commitment that he made to the throttle in turn 1 and 2 to run the lap.
Now look at the starting grid. Who's who in the front 4 rows. All the heavy hitters. William Byron fills it out in row 5. Eric Jones, the momentum continues for Legacy after a couple good runs. Right here he is, starting inside the top 10. Chris Buescher back there in row 7, loves Michigan. And how about Cole Custer in that 41? Decent qualifying run there.
Pagano, 3-time Michigan winner in row 9 with John Hunter Nemechek. Blaney's won here in row 10 with McDowell. Stenhouse top 5 last week, row 12 to start tomorrow.
Surprised to see RFK back here. Brian Priest, a little bit of work to do.
Cindric and Chastain in row 16, got a lot of ground to make up tomorrow.
And Zilich as well. Josh Berry with the spin and qualifying will start shotgun on the field.
How about that pole sitter, Marty?
Boy, what an effort from Denny Hamlin there. I mean, 5 minutes ago, I was talking to you and Chris Gale about whether or not you guys had to make adjustments on the car. How in the world did you make that happen, Denny?
They did a great job, you know, accounting for the damage on the bottom side. So, you know, they rebalanced it. Felt like they did a good job. It was a handful. I mean, it was all I wanted, certainly. But hats off to this whole National Det Toyota team. Yeah, that was surprising.
Did you notice less downforce on the car on that run?
I just noticed I was shattering all the tires, it felt like in the corner. So it was the limit for sure.
You broke the heart of the kid from Michigan.
Yeah, I get it. I totally understand. I remember being at Richmond way back 06 or so, 07, and trying to get a pole at my home track, and I get it. I feel like that. Sorry for him.
But I thought it was a class move, Adam. Denny Hamlin said sorry to Carson Hocevar. Then they had a little embrace and a hug. But, hey, I think he'll take it. What an effort by this 11 team. And the driver did a heck of a job on that lap.
Yeah, and he just keeps adding up the stats. 14th season with multiple poles for Denny Hamlin. He gets it done in qualifying here today. So we look forward to tomorrow. NASCAR Live on the air, 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Danielle Trotta with Corey LaJoie. And Martin Truex Jr. will be a part of our pre-race festivities. We look forward to that.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Martin's been hanging out all day long. He's fired up to do a little pre-race and post-race tomorrow. We're going to have some